The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix is the host of the finale of Season 1 in F1 Manager Career Mode today, and of course this circuit has had a pretty big revamp over the last year, and we're going to take it on and see if we can try and hopefully end on a high. I'd love to bag a point here today, but I'm also not super confident as there's going to be absolutely no rain, and the characteristics of the circuit doesn't really suit our car that well, especially with the latest changes in terms of layout. But anyway, we'll leave that to one side for now. If you haven't seen the last episode, guys, at Brazil, which featured some rain, go watch it, link in the top right before we jump into spoilers, so go check it out. But yeah, let's get into it. Now, today's episode is a pretty stacked one. We've got a lot of things happening after this race, which I don't know if we'll get to all of these in this episode. It depends how long the video goes on for. The other thing that's a bit of an issue is the driver lineup. So, Lance Stroll, we of course renewed him for one season, and that bugged out. So essentially his contract runs out after this race. So I don't think we're going to be able to re-sign Lance for a new contract. So we're looking at a new driver. So currently we're scouting Fernando Alonso, Daniel Ricciardo and Nick De Vries. We'll have a look and consider our options after this episode. It might even be the next episode after this, who knows. But for now, this is a problem which we'll address. For now, let's get into the weekend. Leave a like if you're going to enjoy, subscribe for more, and let's see what happens. Now, this race weekend, I'm only going to guarantee a P15 or above in the race. I'm not going to guarantee Q2, as recently we've not even made it out of Q1 with Sebastian Vettel, so there's no point even trying it. So, yeah. Also, as for hot streaks, there's only one race to go, so we can't actually enable a hot streak. So, yeah, we'll just leave it as it is and go for P15 or above in the race with one car.
We're at Yas Island in Abu Dhabi for the Formula One Grand Prix. The Yas Marina circuit was completed in 2009, and we've seen a fair share of celebration and commiseration over the years since then. The scenery may be spectacular, but this weekend, all eyes will be on the track. There's a reason why the Yas Marina circuit is used as a test track. The long straights put engine power through its paces, while the twists and bends make medium-speed downforce just as important at this challenging circuit. This is it. We're down to the last few races of the season, and it's time for that final push. Who will be crowned champion at the end of it all? We'll find out soon enough. Stay right here, because we're just getting started.
Let's get to work then. Practice underway, and you guys know the drill by now. We're using used parts for practice, and then we'll go for the freshest available for qualifying and the race. Going to test our custom setup and also 18 laps of fuel on minimum push modes and soft tyres. We have our first virtual safety car of the weekend, Zhou Guanyu in the barrier. As you saw there at the end of the back straight. So that's him done for the session. He's had a pretty big shunt. Not going to affect our round plan though, so we'll crack on and keep doing our thing.
The car's just all over the place.
Hey, firm.
So Lance doesn't sound that happy.
Car was good.
Yeah, confirm.
Okay, not too shabby then. So Seb looking a bit better, but we've got work to do with both cars. Now with Lance Stroll, I believe this could actually be optimal already. Everything lines up beautifully. Everything that's bad has been flipped. The great is a little bit tweaked to hopefully go for optimal. It just lines up spot on. So I think this, I'm confident it's going to go well. Hard tyres for Lance, and we're going to run until the end of practice. As for Seb, I'm confident this is going to be in the right direction, but I don't think it's going to be optimal. I might be hoping for a high 80% maybe. Yeah, there's a few things here. I think the toe out could be this way or this way. It's a complete guess. So we'll try this first and see what happens. But still, we'll also send them out on the same run plan. So let's see how it goes.
Car was good. All good here.
Copy.
Wasn't really what I was hoping for. I've been struggling with Seb lately to get the setup in the right window, man. Honestly. It hasn't been easy the last 4 or 5 races. It was so easy before.
It's not bad. I think it's okay.
Copy.
Okay, it's not as good as I thought, but it's an improvement. So yeah, we'll let them run and basically rack up track knowledge until the end of FP1. We'll also let them run free for a few laps, seeing as, you know, it's the last race of the season. We can take the shackles off a little bit. FP1 finished, and we have Perez and Hamilton who have grid penalties for the race. Further down, nobody else, and we're P17 and P18 at the end of the first session. Now then, time for FP2. These adjustments make a lot more sense now. Everything's starting to click a little bit. I'm happy with this, the adjustments I've made. Bit of a guess with the straights, where to go. I'm going to go central rather than full left. I feel like I went more to the left in FP1 and didn't really give me the right reading. So yeah, this kind of lines up and makes sense for me. As for FP2 though, we're going to go for soft tyres, both drivers, and we're going to go for 15 laps, which is fine. And once again, in conserve modes. Right, so let's see how this goes with Lance. The setup is a bit more confusing than I thought. I thought I was on the right track, but it's actually a bit more different than I thought. I'm not too confident we're going to get the max score, but this will hopefully point us in the right direction, as everything more or less lines up and makes a bit more sense. Now we've got a few more things inside the brackets, so we'll hopefully collect more data now. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm really confused. Setups are getting so much harder to make since the latest upgrade.
Smash, any thoughts on setup options?
Well done. Car was great.
Copy that.
Okay, that's a bit better, but still, I don't know. The setups are getting harder to make and harder to, you know, get spot on, but at least we take a step in the right direction with Sebastian anyway. Let's bring them in and let's make the adjustments. Okay, I'm going to go with this with Sebastian Vettel. Some small tweaks. Traction, which is good. Moving to the centre, hopefully will give us great or optimal. Straights, oversteer, left it the same. And the changes that are made to change basically the traction and bring the optimal values back, we have these adjustments which are done automatically. So I'm happy with these. This might just give us optimal on both. We'll go for a set of mediums and we'll go for 20 laps and run until the sun sets in Yas Marina. Now with Stroll, work to be done, but I'm happy with this. There's a lot of values, a lot of confusing things, but I can understand what I'm doing. I can see what I'm doing. This makes a lot more sense. We'll see if it actually adds up, but I think hopefully this should be in the 90s, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, good job with the car.
Copy.
Finally, much better. Lance is happy. So Sebastian Vettel, feedback, 96% for him, no radio, but there is the update. So 96 for Seb, 97 for Lance. I think we're on course to rack up 100 here this weekend, which is good. So a good FP2, good recovery, putting in the good work, and we're looking decent now for the rest of the weekend, hopefully. We're just going to leave them out there now to rack up laps and improve track acclimatization.
Right, watch this. There's Schumacher.
So there's been a big shunt just between our two cars.
And that's a big smash.
So AlphaTauri involved. That's going to be a penalty surely for him. Either way, that might help us out in the race as one of the AlphaTauris might start behind us. So Friday has finished in Abu Dhabi. Of course, we know about Hamilton and Perez with a penalty. But further down, Snowden now has one after that incident. For us, P17, P18 on the medium tar in standard modes. That's pretty healthy. But yeah, worth noting, Verstappen, of course, in the battle for the title versus Sainz has a 3-second gap. So Red Bull looking strong here this weekend.
Welcome back as we continue our race weekend with practice soon to finish and then qualifying hot on its heels. Drivers will need to perform with remarkable consistency if they're to secure a strong position on tomorrow's grid. It's not just about one moment of brilliance. No, they'll need to prove over the course of qualifying that they have what it takes to occupy those coveted places. Strap yourselves in. This is Formula One.
So now it's that time where we're in pursuit of 100% perfection. So I've made just one change, and that's tyre camber, which is bringing the cornering into the centre. And by default, the traction is moving slightly outwards. So is the oversteer, but hopefully that will stay optimal. And these two will just tick over to optimal. As for Lance, I'm pretty comfortable with this. So the oversteer slightly outward and the cornering slightly outward as well. Everything else has been kept the same. The traction is coming slightly inward, but hopefully the values won't change. But I know with Lance a little bit more where I've got to go. It feels a bit more natural. But anyway, both cars on softs for 15 laps. Let's get into it.
Well done. Car was great.
Copy.
That's not what I was hoping for. Not ideal. We do now have 100% track acclimatization with both drivers now, so it's just about trying to find the highest percentage possible on setup.
I'm happy with the car.
Hey, firm.
Okay, that's really nice. Right, let's see what happens here then. We've lost cornering, which was optimal. Okay, this is my final attempt to try and find the perfect setup. So, traction, I went slightly to the right, and it was great. The green is the highest, which is a bit more central, so I'm going to go slightly to the left and see if I can tweak it to optimal. Those changes have meant that the cornering has lined up a little bit to what it should be. So the green is optimal, to the left it's grey, which is what we had before, so we're going more on the optimal side. And then brake stability is also a bit more central. The only thing is it knocks my oversteer a little bit into the centre, which is already optimal, but as long as it's a bit higher than 96 or 93, then I'll be happy.
Car's great.
Yep.
Okay, so we're not going to get what we want with Sebastian, 96, bit of a shame, but it is what it is. You might notice Stroll was in P10. I did send him out on a quick qualifying glory run. It's the last practice session, we've got nothing to lose, and we're going to have to return a set of tyres anyway, so I let Stroll have a bit of fun. We used aggressive and also standard engine mode, just on a fresh set of soft tyres and low fuel. But yeah, we'll let Seb wrap up now. And there we have it, Hamilton setting the pace, Perez second, so they respond even with a penalty. Verstappen still up there, Bottas P4, Sainz P5, so Ferrari with work to do in the title fight. Stroll in the top 10 there with that qualifying run. Further down, we're P18 with Seb. We did make him push a little bit at the end, and yeah, on a very used soft tyre and some aggressive push, we got an easy P18. So job done for practice, and you can see we've got pretty decent scores all round. Crucially, we've got the performance bonus, so that's all that matters. I'm going to probably keep Seb's setup unchanged, unless it's very obvious to me what 100% is going to be. We're not going to change it. We're not going to touch it. I'm happy with this. 96 is fine. So we're all gravy. We're just going to get ready for qualifying. So we'll go for 3 flying laps. Actually, we'll go for 2. I feel like the tyres don't really hold on that well. I've noticed in Stroll's second lap, he didn't even improve with a bit more engine mode. So that's worth noting. We're going to change the car parts as well. For the last time, we'll run the freshest we have available. And make sure the drivers are at full power and have all of their toys ready for the final attempt. So there you go. Seb, of course, running his freshest engine all round, and then Lance will set him to 2 flying laps and also run the freshest components he has available, which aren't as fresh as Sebastian, but still in the 90s, which is going to be pretty good for him. Gearbox, a little bit of second hand, that's okay. Right, let's get into it, let's get to work. So qualifying underway, both of our cars out on track, hoping for clear track, which we will get on our first run with both cars, which is good. Let's have a look at the sector times then as we make our way towards the end of the first push lap. Magnussen setting the benchmark 25.4, Joe second, and then both of our boys line up behind, so there we go. There we have our first bankers. Let's see what our second lap is though, and let's see if there is some track evolution. The track's getting cooler, of course, with sundown, so things should improve as qualifying progresses. Second lap, no traffic yet again, at least not for now. We're going to encounter Sainz and Ricciardo on out laps. Stroll's going to clear Ricciardo, but Seb's going to hit him in the final sector, I think. Yep, not ideal. Neither driver improved, I don't think, on that run, so there we go. That's that done for the first runs. I'm going to try something different in this qualifying. I'm going to go for a 2-lap final run. Even though it feels like there's no real track evolution, I'm just going to try something different. So we're going to send them out now. Hopefully we've got the timing correct in my head. This should be just about right. It will be close, but I want to try and start my final lap with everybody else, so let's see. So Stroll starts his lap, Sebastian just behind. So I'm just going to have Magnussen for traffic and company, but let's see. No personal best so far for Stroll. Seb does get a personal best middle across the line. Stroll improves marginally, Seb also improves marginally. And we've just got enough time, I think, to go around one more time. I think it's going to be close. No, we're not going to make it with you, driver. We're done. So there we go. Didn't even get a second lap in, so qualifying done for us. Bit of a shame, but it is what it is. I was expecting a double Q1 knockout anyway, so I tried something different. I should have gone out about 25 seconds earlier.
Sounds like someone's gone wide there.
I definitely underestimated how slow the call-off lap in between was going to be. It was a lot slower than the out lap. I was basing it off out lap pace, which is faster, so lesson learned for the future. But there we go, yet again, another double Q1 knockout. That's why we did no guarantees at the start of the event. Perez setting the pace, and further down you can see, not out by much to be fair, you know, 10th and a half, 2 tenths, but still, we're lacking pace, man. And it's going to be a tough weekend because after Schumacher, from Tsunoda onwards, the gap is at least half a second, which is quite a big one. Anyway, we'll take it. So for this one, we're going to go pretty baseline. We're going to run strategy A, which is the fastest out of the 3. And we're going to match the strategy for both drivers. One will pit 1 lap after the other. Probably going to be Stroll pitting first, to be fair, because he's worse on his tyres than Sebastian. Fuel-wise, we're going to run standard. We're not going to underfuel, and we're going to run standard modes as well in terms of driving. So let's see how it goes. P16 start for Seb, P18 for Lance. So let's get into it and let's see what happens. I'm going to try and see if I can attack this race differently and play the long game a bit and hope to have a better end of the race and be in a bit of a better position in terms of tyres and fuel and battery. So let's get into it.
It looks like clear weather tonight for this race, with the drivers now just taking position on the grid. And there's Sebastian Vettel. With their starting position in the back 10, they'll have their work cut out for them. There's Lance Stroll, down the grid. They'll be starting the race from the bottom half of the grid, so there's a fair bit of ground to make up. The teams are ready to go. Anything could happen. It's the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
This is it. Season finale.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
Underway then. Worth noting as well, Leclerc on pole, Verstappen going through, and that's big for the championship. We'll try and keep a keen eye on this. Meanwhile, further back, Sebastian.
Good job.
And Stroll getting to work here as they try to make up places. Briefly there, Stroll got past.
I can't. Yeah, it's insane how bad we are.
Let's speed up.
Focus.
Sebastian getting past
That's a
Ricciardo.
position gained for AlphaTauri.
You can see the new engine there. Ricciardo running an old engine. You can see the difference in just overall power mode. And we are going to try and keep an eye on the battle for the championship. So Sainz, of course, needs to win and beat Verstappen. I don't know the exact permutations. I would have to double check in terms of the championship standings, but I don't think I can get to them during the race. So all I know is I think the gap's like 10 points or more. So Sainz has to win and Max has to get, I think, yeah, a few points less. Yeah, okay, so the gap's like 22 points. So Max has to DNF for Sainz to win. That's about it, to be honest. In the constructors, Ferrari are good to win at the moment. They've got a decent 18-point cushion. So we'll keep an eye on that as the race goes on. But Max essentially has to DNF. And yeah, we need Sainz to win. And Sainz right now putting a move on Chuck Leclerc, although they're both going at it right now. You can see they're both scrapping away. Bonotto, man, you've got to sort this out.
DRS enabled.
Got to sort this out. This isn't good for your drivers. As for us, Sebastian just dropping out of DRS range of Mick Schumacher. Stroll keeping up with Ricciardo quite nicely, but we're just not quite able to keep up. Ricciardo also struggling for pace in McLaren. Schumacher also dropping back from the cars ahead, so that's the reality. As Sonoda is going to make the move with some DRS. There you go. Easily done. We'll see if Sonoda can help reform the train a bit and drag us up to Schumacher.
AlphaTauri gained a place.
But the gap to the top 13 is a bit too large at the moment. Yellow flag. Sector 3. If that's accurate, it's a Ferrari.
They've lost control and spun. Let's have another look. Sainz is the focus here.
Look at that. Sainz was right on the back of Verstappen, putting the pressure on. That's devastating for Ferrari. That is a huge moment in the championship. And for the constructors as well, by the way, because, you know, that's going to help Red Bull now as Perez is P8 and, you know, fighting back. Alonso now up to third with the fastest lap. But now Ferrari needed Leclerc to try and fight back and give Sainz a helping hand. So that moves Sebastian to P15 yet again. And Stroll currently P17 out of the DRS range from Ricciardo. I'm going to go for pretty much full push with Lance, so try and get him onto this train. But we're dropping off. We don't have pace right now. Seb's starting to drop back from Schumacher and Sonoda, which is a bit of a concern. But yeah, we've got Lance in full push just for a lap, one full lap, to see if he can close up, especially in the final sector. We'll actually go for attack on tyres as well for here, just to try and close the gap. But right now, our best hope really is to stick with Schumacher. Another yellow, and there we go. Zhou Guanyu for the spin. We'll get an update on that in a minute. Probably the same situation as Sainz, to be fair. Under braking.
What a spin!
Nice voice track there, Crofty, mate. So yeah, anyway, here's Lance 1.3. He's getting there. We'll just hold on for a bit longer to see if he can indeed get within range. That would help massively. He's not going to get DRS, I don't think, on this straight, but maybe on the next one. Come on, Lance. Push. It's amazing how one lap in attack mode has dropped him 3% on tyre wear compared to his teammate. That's a big, big drop. Oh, okay.
Let's take a closer look. Now watch this. Here's Alonso's car.
At the final corner. Oh, on the power.
There it is. That's
Just losing the back end there. So he's now down to P11 with that mistake. And he's the next car ahead of Sonoda. Both of our boys are still hanging on, to be fair. Stroll done well after that mistake. You know, pushing back up. He's actually managed to stay there, which is encouraging. Sainz now starting to catch back up. But this is good. If we can just stay in this fight, you know, it means P12's on the table. If anybody in the top 10 has an issue or 2 stops, then we might pick up the pieces quite nicely here. We've got a few cars on softs, actually. Alonso's on softs, Magnussen, Hamilton as well. And they're on pretty used softs, to be fair. Norris is on fresh softs. So we'll see. Verstappen also, of course, on softs. So that could be interesting in terms of the battle versus Leclerc. So a lot of things happening, a lot of things moving around in this race. Key thing for us is that we just can't make any errors. The drivers have got to try and keep it clean, man. Now, the Lance is going to drop out of the RS range in that last lap, in the last sector, as Sainz starts to put the pressure on. So the good news about that is that Stroll will latch onto the Ferrari and that will just reform the train. Well, Sainz is getting stuck in here straight away, looking to get past Ricciardo, and does so.
Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
Meanwhile, Seb getting past.
Let's see what happened there. So this was the Aston Martin.
So into the new left-hander, and look at that. Fantastic move up the inside from Sebastian. Nearly 3 wide there with Sonoda. Lovely stuff from the 4-time champ. Let's hope he has a clean final race after a pretty horrible run of races from him since signing the contract. Now, interestingly, Leclerc is closing in on Max. That soft tyre starting to die on the Red Bull. I wonder if they're trying to stretch to a 1-stop, but it's not really working. So Leclerc getting back into play here for Ferrari. So the strategy could be on. Who would have thunk it? Ferrari with a better strategy than Red Bull. So Sebastian getting past Sonoda on that lap. Moving to the front of the train. Love to see it. So yeah, we'll see along that last. It's going to be probably a yo-yo thing where they just keep on swapping around. But Sebastian, P12 right now looking pretty decent. Got plenty of, you know, tires, fuel, all that good stuff. So we're looking good on that front. Stroll, though, starting to drop back now. You can see yellow flag in Sector 3. Not very big, though. No one's lost any time.
Sounds like we've had a spin.
Norris down to P10 with that mistake. Charles Leclerc, meanwhile, up into the lead. Overtakes Verstappen. What is Max's tyres on? 40%. So this is big for the championship. You can see Seb still just battling away here. But Verstappen actually into the pit lane, so he's had enough of those tyres.
That's a position gained for AlphaTauri.
This is going to be a big hint because Hamilton, Magnussen, Norris, Alonso, let's see if they 1 or 2 stop. If they 2 stop, it might give us a chance at points today. Verstappen, though, is onto the hard tyre, so he's going to try and get that to the end, which is a long stint. So we'll see what happens. Yellow flag, Sector 1. Not sure exactly what's happened.
Car in the wall.
Magnussen.
We can take a look now. All eyes on Kevin Magnussen here.
So down to turn 1. Does he lock up? Yes, he does. Does he hit the wall?
Clearly, something went very, very wrong.
Just kissed the wall there. So K-Mag still on his way. The tyres are bugged out, so he's on the hard tyre now, but he's on softs. But he's got wing damage, some minor wing damage. And is now being challenged by Alonso. Verstappen has rejoined just behind them. You can see the gap's 3 seconds, which isn't good. Not ideal. Sainz also struggling to make progress now. I think his tyres are starting to die off a little bit. Who knows?
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race
Oh my God.
position.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, pause. Safety car deployed before we get the warning from the game. That's big. Very big. So, we've got a chance at a free stop here because if you look at the minimap, Hamilton's there, Verstappen, then all these cars have crossed the start-finish already. We're going to take it. Lando, you can see, is making his way into the hotel section. Schumacher and Tsunoda out the running. That's a big double shunt for those two. So we're going to do it. We're going to go for it. We will go for the hard tyre. We will double stack them. So there's enough of a gap there that we're going to be okay. Let's hope it works out. That was a massive shunt. Schumacher takes them both out.
That's the contact there. Oh, there's chaos on the track.
Back to the live action though, safety car out, and we're going to be the first cars to pit. It's going to make this stint a bit tough in terms of performance. I was hoping to have a tyre advantage at the end, especially against those that started on softs to kind of get us back in the race, but you take what you're given, and the double stack is smooth as butter. That was spot on. Both drivers with the 2.6. Norris already ahead. There's Magnussen. We might actually get Seb out ahead. It's going to be close, actually. I think we might get Lance out ahead of Magnussen as well. Well, that would be big if we can make it happen. And we will. There we go. So we've stayed ahead of Magnussen. Still ahead of Albon, of course, Latifi, and then Zhou, who had the incident. So let's see. We've done our stop now. We're going to be behind Alonso and Norris. So safety car currently out on track, but nobody's pitting. That's very interesting. Okay, in that case, I was pushing a little bit to make sure we don't lose too much time under Delta, but we can afford to coast. Okay, so safety car in this lap. We're going to trust the drivers and leave them in standard modes. I'm going to try and hang on with Lance in terms of battery as long as I can before we go to full deploy. So I feel like I want to make sure we let him recharge as much as possible. He does have company, so let's get ready for the restart. There we go. So no one has pit. This is interesting. If we try to analyse the race a bit, Leclerc, Perez, Gasly, Bottas, Russell, Ocon have to pit. That's 6 cars. Sainz, Ricciardo, 8 cars. That would move us into the top 6 with Sebastian. Top 7 with Stroll. That's big. So Ricciardo causing a breakup of the train there. Bit of a check-up on the chicane section on the back straight, which allows Norris to go through. But Ricciardo now doing the mobile chicane job, as you would like to call it in F1 terms, where he holds everybody up and lets his teammate drive away. So Alonso being held. Sainz now pits. Sebastian Stroll still hanging in there as the Williams boys start to drop back a little bit, and they're dragging Zhou down with them. Sainz pits, Ferrari strategy 101, missing out on the safety car phase and then pitting after. Could have got Sainz right back into the race had they stopped him under that safety car, because, you know, would have actually got him on, you know, a similar strategy to Verstappen. Anyway, alas, our drivers are still doing their thing. Alonso trying to get past Ricciardo. Let's see if we can get past the Honey Badger as well here. Important that we try to clear him ASAP, as DRS will be enabled next lap, so we don't want to lose it. And let's see if more cars pit this lap, as we'll use that sign stop as a warning, and there we go.
DRS is enabled. DRS
Checo
is
pits, but nobody else, so they're pitting one at a time here. They're being quite shy. This is not ideal, though, this Ricciardo situation. We're going to have to push once we get past Ricciardo to get into DRS range of Alonso. It's important that we stay in the DRS. Super, super key. Let's see. Let's not push on tyres, but we'll push on fuel and battery and try to make some progress. So Seb gets by. And Stroll's going to follow. And now everybody's pitting. Gasly, Bottas, Russell, Ocon. This is going to move us up the order. Stroll challenging Seb. We don't want that. We do not want that. Come on, boys. Behave, behave. We do not want this. Never mind. Okay, well, you know what, Stroll, you can take the lead, mate. How about that? And there we go. Leclerc pits. He was the last one. So that's going to move us into the top 5. I'm giving up with the Alonso chase. We have to play the long game. I've got Seb in push mode on fuel. We can afford to burn some fuel, to be fair, so we'll let them go. They're going side by side again, but Seb is going to get by it in this battle versus his teammate. Oh no, never mind. Stroll actually stays in front. It's costing us time, which isn't ideal, so we'll see. The good thing is Hamilton now second. Hopefully he drops Lando, and Lando starts to drop back. Alonso as well. As for tyres, we're all about the same right now, so yeah, it's going to be a battle to get these to the end, but if we make it, we're going to be looking pretty good. Oh, Magnussen makes a mistake at the final corner. That's going to take the pressure off.
All eyes on Kevin Magnussen here.
Magnussen under pressure.
But that could have been much worse.
Perez was chasing him, so Perez cutting through. Seb just got past Stroll, and yeah, now he's going to have a Perez-sized problem for company here. Now Checo has 10% better tyres. Ideally, if we can just follow him, that would be the ideal scenario. If we can hang on to his DRS as long as possible, as he goes past, you can see. What we don't want is Stroll trying to interrupt the rhythm here. Let's try and, you know, both cars follow a line, follow a lead here, and just follow the Red Bull. Let's see if this works out for us. Well then, both Ferraris have arrived at the party, so 2 Astons versus 2 Ferraris, and we've got a Gasly dragged along for company, along with Zhou Guan Yu's not too far behind. Look at this. Could be a 3 wide situation here. Stroll goes through, and so does Sainz, and also Leclerc Looking to get past his old teammate Sebastian Vettel. It's a drag race.
Ferrari advance the race position.
And Seb stays in front as we try to frustrate the Ferraris and ruin their tyres. I know they go for the championship, but we've also got points to try and score as well, and the board review is incoming, so I want to try and strike a good impression. But yeah, I think Sainz is going to eat Stroll up here. Although Seb, looking to get stuck in, you can see there, and Seb actually goes through. So Stroll concedes once again, as we're getting pretty low on fuel now. We're burning off the reserves, which is good. So the car should be lighter. We'll run into the negatives a little bit as well. Sainz gets through on Sebastian, and that looks like a definitive move now. So Sainz might just race off into the sunset.
Oh, and Ferrari just gained a place.
Meanwhile, Stroll battling, but Leclerc not able to get by just yet. So Stroll still hanging in there, which is good. Hopefully Seb holds on to DRS, and actually Sainz has gone off again. Another mistake. Wow.
Popped up and gone straight on.
Yellow flag.
Yeah, copy.
Safety car. Perez.
No DRS.
What is happening this race? My God.
So let's look at this. There's Sergio Perez.
Down to turn one. Oh.
Oh, a nasty crash there.
I was kind of hoping Checo would take Norris with him, but... Right, we need to think. What are we going to do here? I feel like the AI might go to the end. Let's see what Max does. We've got time to react. As you can see, we're a bit further back. I'm tempted to go for a medium if we have a set left, which we do. Now, Verstappen has stayed out. So has Hamilton and Fernando. So, I don't know what to do. I think we're going to stay out. I should be doing this as well, by the way. I forgot to do this, so we're going to do this now. We're going to stay out. We've got track position. We're going to just keep, exchanging DRS and hope that we can hold on. So safety car ending as we get back underway. Just making sure we hold on for as long as possible in terms of tyres. Right, let's go. Back underway. Let's hope we can do the job here. I'd love to bring home double points. Even though it's P9 and P10, I just want to finish in the points this race. I really do. I want to try and end on a high. Back underway then. Green flag conditions, and the tyre wear now kicking in, so performance is going to be neutralised, though Leclerc does have a pretty big advantage over Stroll in terms of tyre performance. But we'll see how the race goes. It's a long race, so yeah, hopefully though, I'm banking on Sebastian here. I want to try and see if I can hang on to Norris and Alonso. Hamilton and Verstappen are probably going to race away. I think we're going to be fine now for DRS, to be fair, although Stroll dropping back a little, so we'll make him push a bit. Leclerc all over the back of him. And actually, whoa. Wow. Verstappen, Alonso, and Norris all pit. Oh, I just don't know.
So DRS is enabled now.
Zhou and Magnussen pit as well. Both cars onto the top 3 positions. How is this happening? Let's just see what happens. Ideally now, a defensive job from Lance would be nice.
You can stop, lift and coast.
Copy.
Everybody's in. Verstappen's in as well for the championship. That's huge because Leclerc and Sainz, I don't think, are stopping again. So the championship narrative flips again. Stroll gets overtaken. Let's stick with the action here, folks. This could be a race of the season contender.
Advance the race position.
You can see Stroll win the wars now as Sainz gets past as well. I think Stroll might struggle to make it on tyres, but worst case we put on a set of softs if we don't make it. But right now we're committing here. Seb's the one I'm holding out for, but Lance is also doing a great job this race of staying in the fight. And there we go, Hamilton pits. So Sebastian Vettel will take the lead in Abu Dhabi. Just like in the US Grand Prix in real life, one of our drivers is going to lead, and it's going to be Sebastian. Although the Ferraris now are primed for a 1-2. This is insane. And if they let Sainz win, right now he's in championship winning position. Verstappen has to make up a 7-second gap to Ricciardo to win the championship back. And I think if that's not enough, he has to finish in P8. So, yeah, here's this battle. Seb back through on Leclerc. This is working, by the way. This entire position flipping that we was doing before the safety car is working great. I just hope Stroll can hang on and not drop back.
Play there. They've moved up a place.
But Sebastian officially has led an entire lap of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Although the position did switch midway through, he finished and started the lap in P1. Stroll starting to drop back now. His pace is an issue, and also Ocon putting pressure on, but hopefully Stroll can just hang in there for a bit longer. Sebastian now getting overtaken. Gasly in for an incredible podium shout this race, as Sainz gets past.
And Ferrari just gained a place.
This battle's ongoing, but Sainz does get it done around the outside. Looks like. There we go. 15 laps to go. Lance is struggling now. I've got him to push to try and hang on, but the struggle is real now. He's losing time everywhere pretty much, which isn't good. Lance could easily finish out the points this race, to be fair, at this rate. So yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can get him to hang on. Sebastian now also starting to drop a little bit. Might have made the wrong call by staying out, but I had to take the chance. Still got a long way to go. The 15 laps is it's a long race.
Position gained for AlphaTauri.
But Gasly goes through. Seb now under pressure from Esteban Ocon. Trying to hang on to some DRS.
Romeo just moved up a place.
But Ocon goes by. Stroll also now getting overtaken. We're dropping like a stone now, boys. Out front, Carlos Sainz up into the lead. Verstappen now P9. But it looks like he's going to finish P7 this race at least, as he's on the back of Russell and Stroll, who now is really struggling for pace here. Seb's still holding down a P5. We need Stroll to just hold up the cars as long as possible, as Bottas looking to get past now. I want to speed up the action to like 4x8, but I can't get away from it. The action's everywhere this race. But yeah, tyres are very second hand now. Luckily, Bottas isn't a super aggressive driver per se. So unless he gets a clear chance, he probably won't make the move. Verstappen now, though, through. And Bottas, with DRS, this time getting the overspeed, gets past. And Stroll down to P10 as everyone starts to get past now. Might be worth just stopping.
For Alfa Romeo.
Might take a stop for a set of softs with Stroll and just see what happens. Sebastian, side by side with Verstappen. And there we go. Max goes dropping to P6. And now Sebastian holding back to Mercedes. I don't think we're going to make this, unfortunately. Looking at tyres, could be worth a go on the softs, maybe. Should have maybe put under the safety car in hindsight. But, you know, we had track position and I wanted to dream. But I think that's enough now. We're going to do a stop. Go for the softs. And see what happens. We'll put Stroll first this lap, and then we'll pit Seb on the next one. Actually, no, we'll put them. Should we put them both? What's the gap? Bit too tight. What are we looking at margins-wise here? Doesn't really matter, to be fair. We'll just leave Seb out an extra lap in case we get a safety car or something. He's the kind of guy we're looking for to get something out of this race. And we'll now prepare Seb's stop once we see this over and done with. Not ideal, but we tried it. What's the stop going to be? 2.0, 4.1. Oof, it's a mistake. I'm glad we took that stop with Lance in that case, because yeah, it wasn't looking good for Seb. We're now going to prepare his stop as he goes 3 wide on the back straight and gets overtaken. That's now Sebastian at the points. And there we go, into the pit lane for the final time this season. Our last stop, hopefully. It's smooth and we lose no time and there's no issues. Come on, boys, behave. Slick stop, please. 2.5, that's more like it. Okay, then. Well, we're not going to get points, but we'll just give it our best shot and see what happens. We're going to be just ahead of Albon, which is good. Stroll needs to try and get past him. We'll leave Seb in just standard mode and just see how he gets on. As for Lance, we'll try and go for a fastest lap with him, as I'm going to go for more of a Hail Mary one-off lap and just see if we can get a fastest lap. Uh-oh. Mistake from Lance. Not ideal. Multiple cars crashed. And safety car. Ooh. Okay. So Magnussen and Zhou is the victim. Okay. This is us back in the race.
It's a collision.
Let's have a look at this.
Here's the replay. Now just focus on the Haas.
Oh my god, Zhou's on fire. His engine was up in smoke. And he gets T-boned.
There's the collision. It's caused out.
Whoa. Never seen that before, so that's the first time we've seen engine on fire. Look at that. We're back on for the points. Magnussen has damage. He's going to have to pit. So that's P12 and P14 for us. Shame Stroll made that mistake because he's going to have to clear Albon now, but that's part of racing. Right, this is it. The last dance, the last race of the season. Sebastian, 90% softs compared to everybody else's tyres, which are under 60. Stroll on 82, but still okay, having an advantage there. But this is it. This could make our season. I think we just have to go full push and just see how many cars we can clear while the tyres are fresh, and then just hold on in the closing stages. Buckle up, folks. Safety car number 3 is over, and we're going to get back underway.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
And we're going to get the action then back underway. So Magnussen hasn't pit with damage, so he won't be an issue. Green flag, 5-lap sprint to the finish. Can we pull off a miracle? We've got Norris and Ricciardo right ahead, so we've got a big chance here of outscoring the McLarens. We'll go aggressive instead of attack because the tyres are overheating already, which isn't a good sign. But there we go. Seb walks past. Stroll gets past Albon, and now you can see he's going to hopefully get onto Magnussen as well, which won't be much of an issue with the damage for the Haas. There we go. Norris getting past Russell. It's going to be all action now as Stroll tries to chase after Ricciardo. We're going to go overtake on battery to try and manage it, and so it lasts a bit longer. But P11, P13, come on. Here goes Stroll on Ricciardo. Yep, gets it done. P11 and P12. And now Seb looking at Russell for the move.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
Let's go, let's go. Another one down. We need Stroll to follow. It's going to be insane, this. I can't wait. More action. Too wide. Norris Alonso. Can Seb get stuck in and involved? No, he can't. Not quite. Stroll gets past George Russell. And now, here we go. Sebastian and Lance looking for moves. As long as they don't actually try to put a move on each other. Let's stay with the action here. Let's enjoy it. Norris, let's try and get him. Important that we try and send him back into P11. And McLaren, that way, will hopefully score no points. Stroll makes a mistake. Only minor, but it's a small one. Anyway, let's forget about Stroll. Let's try and focus on Seb here. Come on, Sebastian. We're in deploy. This is a big scrap for P7. We have to go. We have to go. Come on.
So use energy.
We're running out of time.
Copy.
That's another one down. That's Norris out of the way. Bottas on 38% hards. Come on, boys. Let's go. Seb ran the outside. Love that from you, Sebastian Vettel, mate.
Use overtake.
Job done. We will try and recharge and go for a last lap push yet again. I'm relying on tyre performance and fuel here to get us out of trouble. We're going to be patient and wait until the back straights to turn the engine up, turn up the wick. Let's just speed this up a little bit. Right, there we go. Now we're going to go for it.
You can use energy.
Yeah, copy.
So let's see what happens here. Sebastian getting stuck in. Stroll getting stuck in. Use the engine, boys. It's fresher than everybody else. Come on, Stroll. Follow Norris. Important to get the McLaren. Up the inside of Alonso. We've got Gasly, who locks up. Please don't give us a VSC. Let us race on the last lap. Please, Mikey. Please. Stroll going for it. Sebastian doing this thing now. P6. Come on, Stroll. Go for it. Go for it. Come on. Anyway, up ahead, Seb looking at a P4. Can he steal a P4? He's going to try and go for the move on Hamilton here on the last lap. He does it. P5. Stroll going for the move on Bottas for P9. Come on, boys.
P5 at the moment.
It's a last lap scrap. Sebastian Vettel versus Lewis Hamilton. We're out of juice, but Seb goes through Stroll doesn't quite manage it, but it's a double points finish, and it's P5 in the finale. What a race. Fantastic. And there we have it. Max Verstappen, race winner and world champion. Well, there is your lot from Abu Dhabi. What a crazy race. My God. Max Verstappen wins the world championship. Leclerc, second, Sainz only manages P3 in the end. Ferrari at one point had a 1-2, but the race flipped so many times. Red Bull lost Perez, which means Ferrari do win the Constructors' Championship, which we'll get into in a minute. But Ocon, P4 for Alpine, we almost got him. Sebastian Vettel, redemption after a horrible run of races since signing his contract, finishes in P5. No mistakes today, a flawless race, and showing why he's a 4-time world champion. Hamilton P6 ahead of Alonso, and then we've got Norris in P8. Bottas and Stroll P10, unable to get past those two on the last lap, which is a bit of a shame. I was hoping for P8 with Stroll, but Norris does score a couple of points from McLaren, which is bad news. Russell at the points in P11 ahead of Ricciardo, Albon, and then we've got Latifi, Magnussen, Gasly with that crash on the last lap, Zhou, Perez, Sonoda, and Schumacher. Drivers' Championship, Verstappen wins, as you can see, and in the end finishes 22 points ahead of Carlos Sainz. So well done, Max. Congratulations, mate. Further down, we have Sebastian Vettel. As you can see, P12 in the end. He recovers 2 places on Zhou and Ricciardo in the last race and finishes 1 point behind Norris. Almost gets back to that P11 spot, which he held for so long. Stroll with a point, but no change. Stays in P16 in the final championship order. In the Constructors, we tried it. We pushed McLaren to the death, but it wasn't enough. The gap in the end is 14 points. We tried to reclaim 7th place, but it wasn't to be. McLaren just a bit too strong here today. Had Norris finished at the points and Stroll got P8, it would have been pretty close. It would have been a 5-point gap. And if Seb had got P4, it could have been even closer. But alas, it is what it is. We gave it our shot and it wasn't to be. Ferrari win the Constructors' confirmation. And yeah, there's your lot. Elsewhere, big bonuses for this one. Big points finish. There's going to be a big payout, but I'm happy to pay it because both our drivers delivered today. Stroll with a couple of errors, but still kept himself in the race, which is good. And that's a big, big bonus for us. As you can see, finally, big outgoings, but still, we'll take it. Happy days. Great result. Now, guys, I'm going to leave the episode there. I feel like it's going to be a very long one. There was a lot of action in that race, so we're going to cut this post-race stuff out and leave it for the next episode. So leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and in the next episode, we'll take care of all the things that are going to happen heading into season number 2. So leave a like if you enjoyed that crazy race, guys. Subscribe for more as we're on the road to 100,000 subs. And yeah, as always, guys, a massive thank you for the support in this series, and we're back for season 2 very soon. I'm going to try and stream season 2 a bit more if I can. That's my plan. So follow me on Twitch, link down below. As always, a massive shout out and thank you to the members for supporting the channel. Finally, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Until then, take care, and let's get back from me.